In this series, we'll show you some techniques to provide a safe, wholesome, organic source of meat for yourself and your families. As a biologist, I often hear, "I don't like the gamey taste of venison." Most of that off-putting taste is the result of improper handling of the animal. If you follow the tips in this video series, your idea of how wild venison should taste will greatly improve. While this video series focuses on whitetail deer, the tips we show can apply to almost any wild game. We've just harvested a nice doe. Now we're going to show you how to do the field dressing. Let's start with some basic tools. Gloves are important not only for keeping your hands clean, but they also provide a barrier for potential zoonotic diseases. You need a good sharp knife. You don't need the Jack Hawk 9000. Just any good sharp knife, and I prefer this one that has a gut hook. Let's get started. We're going to start by coring around the rectum. I'm going to make an incision in here using my gut hook to slice all along the abdomen, and then we'll get inside and show you the details of the process. So again, we're going to start by making an incision and core around the rectum. And make sure you get completely around so that it'll pull through in the next stage. Your next step is to locate the sternum. Make an incision with your knife, not to go too deep. Use your gut hook. Slice right down the abdomen. Be careful not to cut into the udder or the testicles on a buck. And then you can take your knife, make sure you get all the way up to the diaphragm. Now we're going to cautiously cut around the udder. I'm just going to slice in between these two muscle groups down to the pelvis bone, and making sure our peritoneum is clear all the way to that bone. Next, we'll roll her over, get this lower gut system out of the way so we can work up in the chest cavity. This is the diaphragm, which separates the chest cavity from the abdominal cavity. We're going to take our knife, slice all around the rib cage down to the backbone so we can remove the chest cavity materials, the heart and lung. Next, we're going to take our knife, reach into the chest cavity, get as far as we can, and cut our esophagus. And now that you're cut through the esophagus, we can reach in, grab it, pull that whole system right out. And this is where it's important that if you didn't cut all the way around the diaphragm, it can hold the process. And be careful with your knife here, because sloppy play can cut into the inside loins. And now, if you've properly cut around the rectum, you can pull it right out. And so, since we've shot her in the chest, there's a lot of extra blood in the cavity. At this point, we need to roll her onto her belly and drain all this extra fluid out. Now that we've harvested the animal, as hunters, we need to transition from thinking about this animal as a successful hunt to that this animal is now food for our table. So our final step in the field dressing portion is to get the animal hung up and cooled as quickly as possible. Thanks for joining us on this segment of the video series. Please join us again for the next segments of how to properly skin and debone a hanging carcass.